see my touchdown on SPORTSLINE, man. Oh, my
Yep.
Leader, physicality.
I can't wait to see what you put out there.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of SPORTSLINE Friday Night, another season of SPORTSLINE Friday Night. I'm Jacques Doucet, along with sports director Steve Schneider. We've now got the offense up to the line of scrimmage, and I think we're ready to snap the ball. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
Ready to do this again?
33rd year, and it never gets dull. We have a lot of exciting games moved around, switched around, and we're going to start with Catholic's games that were supposed to be at Memorial Stadium. They ended up playing at Parkview. You can take it off.
All right, Catholic Point Capee and Parkview Baptist going at it this evening. They say it's eagle hunting season. It's late August. I don't know if it's legal to do any hunting yet, but yes, they're trying to go after him this evening. And Adam Betty of Catholic Point Capee goes in from the 3-yard line to make it a 7-0 game. Parkview answers back. This was an entertaining game, plenty of scoring. Mason Warren goes 30 yards around the corner there for a 7-6 game at that point, but Catholic Point Capee would answer back. It's Betty again. Tough football on the inside, putting his head down and running over defenders into the end zone. 13-6, Hornets out in front under their head coach there, Vinny Valera. But then Eagle quarterback Abram Johnson scrambles right. The scramble rules in effect. Hits Byron Stewart 32 yards in the end zone. We're tied up at 13. Second half here. Landon Fry around the left side. This is a 23-yard run. Look at him. He keeps going into the end zone. And Catholic Point Capee feeling pretty good about their team. They've got everyone back this year, including that junior quarterback Hayden Elliott. Then the two-point conversion, the huge hit. Micah Johnson knocks his own helmet off. Just over 2 minutes left to go. Parkview's Johnson goes deep to Brant Melanson. And that is a 60-yard touchdown. And Parkview goes on to win it by a touchdown. Final score this evening, 20-13.
All right, how about Catholic High and Dunham? The Dunham Tigers are coached by Neil Weiner. His dad, Dale Weiner, of course, was the coach for a long time at Catholic High. These two don't really play very much, and there's the coin toss, and off we go. The Bears, defending Division I state champs, Daniel Beal looking for the end zone, but Christian Cowan picks it off. Next possession, the Bears knocking on the door again. This time, Barry Remo, 11 yards in the touchdown. Catholic High with the extra point goes up 7-0. But Dunham responds. The snap will go wide of quarterback Jackson House. Of course, you'll know his dad, Matt House, the LSU defensive coordinator, and he finds Jack Como, 38-yard touchdown. Then they're going to go for two. Again, House, play action. Colin Frana pulls it in. Dunham leading Catholic 8-7 at the half. Second half, and it's the Bears knocking on the door again. Remo the second, 12-yard touchdown, his second of the game. Catholic High goes in front 15-8. The Tigers would drive down the field in position, but eventually an interception of House by Darrell Spears coming up right here, and Catholic hangs on to win with the defensive play there at the end. 15-8 was your final.
Much, much closer than the people on the street expected in this game. All right, let's talk about Zachary and Lafayette Christian. Talk about a couple of teams that have won plenty of state championships in recent memory. Zachary's Eli Holstein, the Alabama commitment, passes to Tylen Williams, and he runs away from the defense for the score. The Broncos up 7-0 early on. Then a little bit later, it is Holstein finding Williams again. And once again, the result is a touchdown. Beautiful pass across the middle. Nice catch and run. And Zachary ready to do things. 14-0 out in front. The Brew Crew. Second half, Holstein. Nice tight spiral to Williams. Deep in LCA territory. He's down to 1. And then a few plays later, Holstein keeps and leaps over the goal line for the score. A little extracurricular afterwards is, not
Where's Trev Falk?
Trev can still get out there and mix it up with those guys, I'm pretty sure. 21-0 Broncos, they go on to win. 24-0 was your final score this evening. So Zachary, bigger classification, and they flex their muscles.
All right, let's take you out to East Ascension and Dutchtown squaring off. Of course, interesting to see these guys playing in a jamboree. Check out this play as Anthony Coleman for East Ascension making the play for the Spartans along the line of scrimmage with the pick. Then Antoine Foster weaving through traffic, and the Griffins can't find him. Finally, they drag him down from behind, but it would set up a field goal attempt for East Ascension. Diego Ontiveros drilling it just far enough to get over the crossbar. East Ascension goes in front of Dutchtown 3-0. Back come the Griffins. Ethan Oakwan, last chance to score with about a minute left, but he is picked. Deron McZeal says, bye-bye. We got this one locked down. Kind of a gritty meeting for a jamboree with EA and Dutchtown ending in a 3-0 Spartans victory.
All right, it's the 2022 debut of SPORTSLINE Friday night. Much more jamboree action coming up.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to SPORTSLINE Friday night. We just saw EA Dutchtown play a jamboree, their district foes. How about Denham Springs Walker? Same thing. The Yellow Jackets are not playing Central this year, so why not play your backyard neighbor in the jamboree? And look at the Wildcats on a 4th and 11. Hayden Price, the Ja'Cory Thomas for the touchdown, and Walker goes in front 7-0. Second half, Walker on offense again. This time they get to him. Madison Maurice with the interception, and then off the turnover.
Teammate wiped him out in the celebration.
Denham Springs to the 1. Reese Mooney, their quarterback, sneaks it in for the score. We are tied at 7. 30 seconds left in the game. Still tied. Denham Springs on their own 7-yard line. Mooney trying to make something happen, but you want it to be a positive, and that's not this. Jaden Bardalis intercepts, takes it back the other way for the Wildcats. Inside the 10, but a block in the back makes their start from the 30-yard line. From here, Price to Cameron Irick. But there's a 15-yard penalty on the Yellow Jackets, so the Wildcats keep possession. There are 8 seconds left. Price with the football, looking to Clyde McClendon. He has it, but he can't get into the end zone. Stopped at the 3-yard line with 1 second left. We go down to one last play, tied at 7. Price takes the snap, scrambling, looking for Thomas one more time, but it's out of his reach. And folks, that's how the game ends. No overtime for jamborees, that's for sure. 7-7, kissing your sister, right? Denham Springs and Walker. And let's look ahead to week 1. The Jackets will take on Mandeville on the road. And Walker is also headed to the North Shore to take on Ponchatoula.
All right, let's talk about some football action at East Iberville tonight, but it was Central and Bruley going at it in St. Gabriel. Jackson Furman, the quick pass to Cam Triplett. That's a nice gainer. And then check out Nathan Zimmer. He comes out and calmly drills a 46-yard field goal. How about it? 3-0. Central out in front. Then in the second half, Tyler Fortney is in at quarterback. He throws a quick look across the middle to Damon Blocker, who's a catcher, and he takes it to the house for a 10-0 lead at that point. So Central looking good. And then in the running game, Glenn Gage, the senior running back, nice run before he is popped out of bounds. That led to a field goal and a 13-0 lead. And then a couple of crazy plays late in this one. Bruley on the ensuing kickoff, they fumble it. And KD Mays has the fumble recovery in the end zone for the Central touchdown. Bruley is driving late in the contest, trying to get on the board. I'm not sure what happens here in the pile. All I can tell you is that Justin Hilliard, the defensive lineman, runs out of the pile with the touchdown. And this is one of those, is it going to count? Is it not? And it does count. And that is I guess about an 80-yard fumble recovery for Hilliard, who hits the gritty, and Central was hitting the scoreboard big tonight. 26-0 was the final. All right, let's move on to our next game. It's Assumption at Santa Ma in the pit. And Assumption, they're trying to punt, but Braxton Spite is there to have the spiteful block punt, which puts Santa Ma in great position. Some people call me Maurice. Joshua Maurice gets the handoff. This is a big kid running the ball. He looks like a linebacker into the end zone for the score. 7-0 Santa Ma out in front. The Santa Ma defense then turns it up. And they have a trying to pitch a shutout in Jamboree action. The defensive line, Dwayne Thomas's guys not letting anything happen there. And then Joshua Maurice wearing that number 7, doing his best Leonard Fournette impersonation with the power. 14-0 at that point. And let's take a look at the final. I think that's the way it held up this evening for the Santa Ma Gators and David Oliver, if we have that score, 14-0.
All right, much more coming up on SportsLine. Corey Lindsey is taking over as the head coach for Liberty Magnets Patriots. We'll check them out. Stay right there.
Welcome back to SportsLine. Steve, a lot of LSU fans paying more attention to Liberty than they used to. Caleb Jackson, their outstanding running back, committing to the Tigers over the summer.
And they had their Jamboree tune-up last night. Let's take you out to the action as they were playing at Broadmoor against Bel Air. Former district foes squaring off. First drive of the game were scoreless. Kylan Gross keeps on the read option. Turning that corner and laying some wood. Gets out of bounds, nice pickup there, and then right on cue, here's Caleb Jackson with the handoff. He will walk into the end zone for the score. Liberty Magnet goes up 7-0. Ensuing drive, and Bel Air is backed up inside its own 20. They're going to try to run around the end, but Cavalli Williams scoops and scores, and suddenly the Patriots are out to a 14-0 lead. Later in the first half, Liberty gets the football back on offense. And it'll be Gross taking the snap out of the shotgun, looking downfield for Javontes Collar. However, Hendrick Miles is there to make the play for the Bengals. They keep them from scoring there, but 14-0 at that point. Here's your final.
All right, let's talk about Port Allen and Plaquemine, although we have another score to tell you about. Live Oak, Steve, and a shutout over Hammond this evening, 14-0.
Yeah, that was a halftime score. They had lightning delays. We were planning to get video of that game, but they just kept pushing it back. So looks like the Eagles took care of business, and we'll get ready for week 1 now and focus on the start of their season.
All right, Port Allen was at Plaquemine this evening. Green smoke blowing there, and opening drive for Plaquemine. Michael Mitchell firing the deep ball to Aiden Joseph, makes the catch and will eventually be taken down at the 10-yard line. 2 plays later, it's Mitchell to Devin Lanou for the score. The 2-point conversion was no good. Plaquemine takes a 6-0 lead. Just before the half, though, Plaquemine's not done. Joseph airing it out, or Mitchell deep to Joseph again. There's a catch, but they can't stop the clock, and the time runs out. We go to half with that same 6-0 score. Second half, Port Allen with the ball. Darius Harris is picked off here, coming up by Aiden Kane. Just jumps the route. Great job there. And then after the turnover, a handoff to Vincent Dawson. And Dawson will take it into the end zone for the 24-yard touchdown run right up the middle. Breaking tackles. There he is. Plaquemine wins. 14-0 was the final score in that one.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back with more SportsLine right after this.
Welcome back to SportsLine Friday night, the 2022 debut. A Meet and Southern Lab. These are 2 programs, no strangers to the Superdome.
Absolutely. Championship caliber coaches, although Zephaniah Powell, Coach Z, has been dealing with an illness, so not with the Warriors here. Recovering may take a while. But his team was supposed to host Southern Lab. Then they had to move at the last minute and moved it over to St. Helena. And here's the action. Of course, Southern Lab missing a lot of those stars that you remember from last year. Marlon Brown with the keeper there. He will score under a minute before halftime, and Southern Lab 6-0. Later, though, Brown goes to the air, and Ashton Terrell of the Warriors picks it off. NITE takes over about 20 seconds before halftime. From there, their quarterback, Jalen Robinson, back to pass. Terrell playing both ways. In the corner of the end zone. Hauls it in for the touchdown. And that ties it 6-6 as we go to halftime. In the second half, Skylar Zanders in the backfield, forcing the fumble. The Warriors pounce on it. Now they've got a scoring drive underway. And back goes Robinson. Over the middle, finding the receiver for the touchdown. Amy goes in front. Final score from St. Helena as the Warriors close things out 19-6 over Southern Lab.
And all the best to Coach Powell. Hope to see you on the sideline soon. Great guy in local high school football. All right, Kentwood and St. Helena scoreless in the first quarter. Quantavious Walton completes it to Shamar Cooper, who goes out at the 3-yard line. That would lead to a first and goal. Jamarian Burton takes the handoff and scores, so it's 8-0 Kentwood at the half. Defense was pitching a shutout from there for the Kentwood Kangaroos. Second quarter, Adravian Harness hits Darnell Singleton. The ball pops out. Loose ball, someone jump on it. Kangaroos recover there. Later in the second, more defense coming up. Another hit in the backfield. Kentwood, and go on to win it 16-0. Final score. Hey, we're on TV.
All right, I was told we have about a minute left.
Okay. Well, so far tonight we've seen some great action, Steve. We saw a Dunham team put up a pretty good fight against Catholic High right off the bat, and we're into the new show. We're going to be changing over here in a bit.
That's right. We stay on WAFB for 25 minutes, then we move over to WBXH. It's our cable station for the second half of SPORTSLINE Friday night, so another 25 minutes coming your way over there. You can always get the entire show streaming at WAFB Plus, also streaming on our app.
From here on out, we will start at 10:10 p.m. on Friday nights. More coming up.
Just like the Jamborees, we've gone for a quarter, we've done our halftime, and we're back for the second quarter and the second half of the Jamboree edition of SPORTSLINE Friday night. Jock, you went up to East Feliciana, some interesting interviews, and a quarterback who can sling it, a tight end that's being recruited.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what they would do tonight in their Jamboree.
Yeah, tight end. That's kind of like a Quincy Wiggins story, a basketball player who said, hey, I'm going to play some football, and I'm pretty good at it. So let's show you tonight. It was East Feliciana taking on those Slaughter Community Charter Knights. East Feliciana's Chandler Wilson, tough run up the middle. And then it's Miles Dawson from East Feliciana. He's gotten offers from McNeese. Swing pass to Stanley Gilmore. He finds the end zone, but the play is called back because of a penalty. Slaughter, 15-yarder. Gage Spickens can't handle the wet football. The Tigers defense swarms him in the backfield, and Chandler Wilson then now takes the pitch. Big gain down the sideline. Time running out, as this was obviously wet and wild. Very muddy. People hydroplaning everywhere. Dawson looks for, there's our guy, Trey'Dez Green in the end zone, but it's broken up by Joshua Thomas Jr. So it's scoreless at the half. And I think all the highlights were from the first half. So what's our final score in this one this evening? As we take a look, do we have that final score?
Let's take you over to West Feliciana. A great night for football over there as the Saints hosted the Livonia Wildcats, and their defense getting after it early. John Trey Cummings with the big hit in the backfield. Then it's quarterback Joel Rogers. Couple of scoring chances. This one to his receiver. Jeremy Fowler couldn't quite bring it in, had it, and then it slips away. Later, just across midfield, the Saints get it to running back J.T. Kane. He breaks into the end zone. Looks like a 48-yard touchdown. However, we got laundry. A flag wipes it out for a holding call. Final seconds of the first half. Rogers taking another shot, going deep. But it's Jamarian Hollins picking it off for the Wildcats. They go to the break tied. Halftime pageantry, big and small sizes. And then West Feliciana gets busy again in the second half. That's a big hit from Delvin Whitaker. Make a hit like that, get the football. Here goes this fullback breaking a 22-yard pickup into the red zone. From there, the Saints quarterback, Rogers, fakes and then keeps it himself. Scoots into the end zone for the Saints lead. Let's see what the score is. The fans certainly excited about playing a jamboree up in St. Francisville tonight. It was 7-0 when we left, and I guess we have a 14-6 final. West Feliciana beating Livonia.
All right, we've got some MAIS action this evening. These guys are ahead of our guys here
That's
in the
right.
LHSAA.
MAIS football, they're a week ahead of the rest of the field or 2 weeks actually. This is week 2 for the Silverman Wildcats, taking on Presbyterian Christian. The visitors already up 7-6. Owen Fudge, the Wildcats quarterback, picked off by Jalen Anderson, and he takes it in for a touchdown. And so the Bobcats go up by a score of 14-6. Wildcats, Owen Fudge finds Stone Town. Big pickup on this one, but the drive would stall, and so the Wildcats looking for 3 points to get back in the game, but that one goes wide right. So still a 14-6 Presbyterian Christian lead. Cannon Crowder finds his receiver, Damian McNair Jr. with the big pickup, and then Crowder to Tucker Morris. Tries to get in the end zone. They spot him just short, but from there, Damian McNair punches it in. Bobcats go up 20-6 at that point. Your final was 20-6. Silliman now 1-1 on the season.
Owen Fudge in Stone Town. It is football season indeed. All right, much more coming up here on SPORTSLINE Friday night.
Please remain standing for our national anthem. Dr. Don Ray, Superintendent of Parkview Baptist.
Welcome back to SPORTSLINE Friday night. You know, we started the show 33 years ago, 1993, of the biggest teams. U-High Cubs, Will Estelli, the legendary coach there. Also Northeast, had a lot of talent, made a lot of playoffs. And the other team, obviously, that we're going to see is Broadmoor, Rusty Price, all those years that the Bucks were in the playoffs, pulling upsets and winning games. And you've got all those teams right there in your...
Sounds like a lot of pressure. All right, Northeast and Broadmoor, indeed, Thursday night action. Broadmoor coming off that 0-10 season. Under a minute left in the first half. Scoreless Bucks with the ball. Naeem Morehouse rolls right, chunks it deep to Chris Morgan for the touchdown. 2-point conversion good, and the Broadmoor out 8-0. Ensuing kickoff, Marquise Gordon has trouble, but perhaps the special teams trying to tackle him relaxes because Gordon takes it back for the touchdown. 2-point conversion no good. Broadmoor still up at that point, 8-6. Second half, Northeast threatening at the goal line. Gordon gets the handoff, breaks another tackle, then takes it in for the go-ahead score. 2-point conversion good. Vikings up 14-6. Next possession, Broadmoor drives it up the field, gets down to the goal line. Morehouse will flip it to Kenneth Hawkins on the option play here, and that touchdown ties it up at 14. The Bucks will go for 2, and on the 2-point conversion, Morehouse will call his own number and falls into the end zone for the go-ahead score, and that ends up being the game winner as the Bucks indeed will celebrate. They are victorious, and it feels good for them under their first-year head coach, Yasim Sarah, who's been on the staff for a while. Final score 16-14. All right. I don't think we're doing McKinley and Scotlandville next. I think we have U-High and...
For the folks who are wondering, though, they did try to play just weren't able to get more than 3 or 4 plays in before that one was
something
stopped
about
by
late
lightning.
August, early September in Louisiana, man. Lightning and storms and all that stuff. All right, U-High and St. Michael. This was a Thursday night game. And first half, Blake Abney, he is the senior quarterback back for U-High. Takes the handoff and hits Seth Gale for the touchdown. That makes it 7-0 Cubs. Dalton Raffini of St. Michael takes the handoff, but holding Fox is there and delivers the huge hit. Down he goes. That was a fumble, and it was recovered by U-High. Abney fakes the handoff again, finds Gale once again for the score. 14-0 Cubs out in front. Warriors trying to get something going, but the Cubs are defensive, and they're not having it. John Martine dropped in the backfield for a huge loss. And then Abney continues to fool the Warriors defense on the fake handoff, hits the edge for a big gain down to the 3-yard line. And then Abney finds Trip Singer on a slant for another touchdown to make it 21-0. U-High scored early and often. They are the Division II state champions from a year ago. 36-0 was the final score.
All right. Still got lots to get to. Actually, this is the Lutcher-Destrehan game. Bulldog trailing 14-3 at the half as Destrehan gets the screen pass and goes for the score. 20-3 Wildcats on top of the Bulldogs. Lutcher driving. Creighton Long with a nice handoff. Picks up a little bit of yardage there, and then it's DeWanye Winfield finding Gavin Gill for the score. Cuts the Destrehan lead to 20-10. We have a final score on that one tonight. Started a little bit late, but apparently the Wildcats end up hanging on. 20-10 was your final.
All right, more football action ahead. SPORTSLINE Friday night.
Number 6.
Welcome back to SPORTSLINE Friday night. You know, this summer we did one of the more interesting player interviews in 23 years of SPORTSLINE summer camp with Albany senior Antonio Lapinto.
A la Ricky Williams, for those of you who remember that in the late 90s, he wore his helmet for the interview.
And before we look at last night's Hornets Jamboree highlights, we thought we'd share some of our interview.
Antonio Lapinto, Antonio Lopinto. My number is 14. My position is linebacker, defensive end, and running back.
Our running game is strictly on him. He's been doing it since a freshman.
I normally play offense because of my size and my speed. I run a 4.7. So, I mean, it's pretty fast for a fullback.
He's a guy who's people don't know because he's not a guy who goes to camps.
People can't really stop me. Just push him down like little babies.
He is a hidden gem.
If you let someone else define the odds of you, then you will never be great.
He said, Coach, I can't get to a camp. But if he was, brother, I mean, you know, somebody, whoever gets into it, I'm kind of getting his name out there a little bit, sending some film out there. And whoever sees this kid play and sees film on him, they're going to offer him.
If anybody's interested in some landscaping, we do have a business called Buggies, so you can always hit us up.
Extra conditioning since you have to play both ways?
Yes, sir. It's really good, though. We done over 40 houses, made around $7,000. So, I mean, that's what we do on the side, then we go to practice.
Coach says y'all make more than he does.
I don't know about all that, Coach. We might. Can't tell everybody our business. Yes, sir.
You take the helmet off for the landscape?
Sometimes. Yes, sir. I like to keep my helmet on. You never know when you're going to get hit.
Well, last night at Walker, the Hornets hosting Sophie Wright. First, it was running back Walker Poe with a big gain that set up a score. One of the 2 touchdowns Lapinto scored. But the big fullback nearly broke off a run on his first carry. Of course, the field's wet, a lot of rain and slippery, so he goes down, but he starts to get things rolling with his second carry, although at first it was almost a fumble. He's got it, then he doesn't, but he brings it back, and then watch him start moving the pile. Lapinto eventually gets things rolling, pushing the pile once, then twice. He had 58 yards from scrimmage, bowls over a guy right there, and then eventually will take a swing pass in the flat from his quarterback, Adrian Castile, turns it into a 25-yard touchdown. Hornets took a 6-0 lead. Lapinto, mobbed by his teammates, says, "Get out of my way, I got to do a little dance here." He would get a second score rushing. They win 14-6 was the final score in that one. He's had a lot of loss. His mom has had a couple of strokes. His dad had a knee injury when he played high school, but he's dedicating this season to Albany perhaps winning their first ever playoff game. The first game of the Albany Jamboree had to be moved because of wet conditions on their field. Rival Springfield against Grace King. The Fighting Irish of Grace King have a 6-foot, 188-pound senior running back, Eric Nicholas, running all night against the Bulldogs defense. 4 quick touchdowns, had a 5th one called back for a penalty. Springfield did score in the first few seconds, but was playing catch-up the rest of the night. Their running back, Torres Buggage, up to the task. As you see here, he scores. That tied the game 13-13 at the half. He would get into the red zone a little bit later. Sophomore quarterback Luke Husser telegraphs that pass, and it is picked off by Maniko Rickman. He takes it back to the house for the pick 6 as the Fighting Irish put this one out of reach. It was a high-scoring, penalty-filled game. Lots of time to get this one played. Longest 2 quarters I've ever seen, I think. Senior Nathan Edwards did truck a defender on that play, and Buggage eventually would get to the end zone again, but they would come up short despite this nice effort right here against the Fighting Irish. Grace King, 41-26 in that one.
All right, much more action coming up.
The Red Hawks of Central Private, B.J. Wilson, their new head coach, taking on Houma Christian, and the defense coming through with a big play as Michael Grimion takes it back for the touchdown. Red Hawks go out to the early lead. Later in the game, Central Private's Reese Dean on offense, taking it around the side and in for the score for the touchdown. A successful debut for Coach Wilson. 14-0 Central Private over Houma Christian in their Jamboree.
Estruma taking on Helen Cox for their Jamboree, and Brady Lemoyne early on. He's back in the pocket, firing across the middle, connecting with his man. That's Trevin Seymour for the pickup. A couple plays later, Lemoyne has Simon wide open for a big game, but they can't connect. Ladarius Jones and Jeremiah Coleman make a huge tackle on the Cougars running back. So here you're seeing some Estruma defense. I saw a mouthpiece fly out there as well. And then number 2 keeps it himself and is knocked out of bounds. Lemoyne and Seymour were out of sync all game as one of his passes was nearly intercepted. Not much scoring in this one. Final score was the Cougars winning 7-0.
All right, I guess that's all the video we're going to show for tonight. We may have some other scoreboards or games to look forward to in week 1 as we get the Jamborees in the rearview mirror and talk about real football in week 1 of the season.
Yeah, next weekend will be very exciting, of course, with LSU and Southern kicking off, and then the high school games for real on Friday.
I know there's some big matchups in the first week, and really, if you're playing high school football, the first week, no matter who you're playing, is a big matchup, right?
Keep it doing 7-on-7 weights, conditioning all summer long in South Louisiana. Hey, we get to play for real and hit somebody else. It'll be fun.
For Jacques Doucet, I'm Steve Schneider. We'll see you next week. Sportsline, Friday night.